So here we are on the second part of the CrKt Tomahawk project. The other day I was doing a job in the city of Orange and I took it over to a place that did this for me. If you look at the picture before, you notice that this had a beautiful black coating on it. And in the past, it's probably been at least 3-4 years since the last time I've done a Tomahawk project. And for those, I myself use chemicals to remove any of the coatings. And as you can tell here, maybe you can see just the faintest imprint of CrKt here. But this is bead blasted, okay? And wow, they did just a fantastic job. Now, who are they? Well, these are the guys. This is Orange County powder coating. Maybe took 5-10 minutes to do, and they gave me a really great break, like $5. I don't know if it's just me, but thank you so very much. I really appreciate it. Orange County powder coating did a fantastic job. So now the idea after this was to do some file work around here and maybe even over here. Now, how am I going to do that? So I went over to Home Depot and I bought these. Now, this is a triangle file, 6-inch, and here is a rat tail or a round one. So we're going to be doing different styles of file work, literally with files, on this Tomahawk. And if you look over here, you'll see that I have my little hobby vise. I have several vices, and one of them's right here. So I'm going to be securing this in there, and then I'm going to be using my Dremel. I think everybody should have a Dremel, and they're just so darn handy. I have this little cutting wheel on here. I'm going to start some notches, and then I'll finish them off with the files. Are there other ways to do this? Sure. I am by no means a skilled craftsman in this. I'm just a guy who wants something unique, and this is how I'm doing it. And I recommend that you watch a bunch of videos and get inspiration and go from there. And with that in mind, let's go over and set this up. Okay, so here we have the Tomahawk head secured to my one of my vices here. And surprise, this is my work table out here on the front porch. My neighbors are going to love this here because I'm going to be making some noise. Just be careful. Now, this is just as much for me as it is for you. But I can't use this on it because, you know, it's too big. So let's go ahead and make an initial notch. Okay, so also for safety, I'm wearing one of these. Okay, so now let's try grabbing this thing here. All right, there we go. So I got this, and let's see if I can bull my way through this. Just to let you know, this is I do my own stunts. There you go. Well, I tell you what, the next time I move to a place, it's gonna have a workshop. This is so much fun. Okay, so here is the initial. Let's go ahead and pull this out. and let you see it. So that's the first part of my file work. Now we're gonna try to re-secure this. Once again, the next time I get a place to live, by golly. well, there you go. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set this back up. I'll talk to you later. All right, so welcome back. So here it is. I do long enough videos already, so I didn't feel the necessity of showing every little bit. So this is what I came out with. And tomorrow I'm getting some birchwood Casey bluing agent. Bluing is controlled rusting. And we'll see how this steel works with the bluing agent. Because at the end of the day, what I was going for, of course, and what I hope I can encourage you to do, is to take something mass-produced and common and customize it and make it your own. I'm gonna do a little bit of sanding, make sure there aren't any rough edges on this, and then when I get that stuff in, I will be cold bluing this. In the meantime, I will also be putting in some stippling. Stippling is those little holes. I'll show you an example here soon enough. But that's it for today. I'm gonna go back over to Home Depot, get myself some very fine sandpaper and just make sure everything doesn't have a sharp edge. All right, thank you very much. We'll see you again soon. All right, so here we have the finished product. And I'm pretty happy with it, to be honest with you. That's why I buy two. So I did all the stippling, you know. I did reburn it, as you can tell that over there. I did reestablish some of the burning that it came with initially, just like on this one. What can I say? I tried things out on here. You know, this is kind of like maybe you have to fall off a bicycle a couple times just to get it back if you haven't done it in a while. But I'm really happy with this. And let's see. Let me do this one-handed. I'm gonna attempt to. Boop. And there you go. That's how this. Let's see if I can get a decent shot for you. And there you go. Now the next step would be to get some boiled linseed oil and do this. And tomorrow, I believe, I am going to be cold bluing this axe head. Tomahawk. Remember, not all axes are tomahawks, but all tomahawks are axes. And with that being said, we'll see you again soon. So here we are with Jet the Wonder Cat. He's up to no good. So I got some boiled linseed oil, a little container, and this is what it looks like. It's looking pretty darn good. Of course, now I have to let this dry for a day, for 24 hours supposedly. And then I'll put on another coat, and we shall see from there. But everything looks fantastic. I'm just so very happy. And well, there you go. Now, of course, the next thing I'll be doing will be cold bluing the Tomahawk head here at the expansive, sorry about that, work spot that I have here. So we're gonna go ahead and say goodbye to Jet. All right, look at that good boy. All right, now I'll see you again soon. So here we are, and we are doing the bluing, cold bluing process, and that is done with Birchwood Casey Permablue. This is a paste. So this is the second coat I put on there. I'm letting it set for a little while, then I'm going to be taking that and washing it off with some water. And you know, I do want it a nice dark color. You're like, hey, you just took off a nice dark color that it came with, but this is a little bit different. So there you go. Take that. All right, so I'm gonna get going. Thank you for stopping by, and we'll be back in a little bit. Okay, so here is my finished product. I did this about 4 times. In between each time, I would go out and wash it off with some steel wool, just to keep all of the colors, you know, from being darker in certain areas and lighter in others. Now the deal is to submerge this in oil, or cover it in oil, and let it sit for 24 hours so that the chemical process from the bluing agent stops and it'll stabilize. After that, I will be sending this out to my good friend, Mr. Tom Veff, the edgeologist himself, to resharpen the edge. So all I got to do is maintain it afterwards. And the next time you see this, it'll be heading off to Mr. Veff and then coming back. All right, thank you so much. So welcome back to the table. So what we have here is a mask for the Tomahawk. Now this isn't the one from before. I bought an extra one. You know, here I am buying extra of stuff, and I'm going to take apart this and use it as a template to make my own mask. And this is a bit of a sandwich. As you can tell, I've already started to pluck out some of the stitching, and then I'm going to draw it onto here, cut it out, and we'll see where the spirit takes me. I have many different stamps to do. Here is an older project. The last time I did a real leather project, I made sheaths for my K-bar utility knife. I got this as a kit, and then I used my own stamps. As you can tell, this one has, let me turn on a light real quick. There you go. Now you can see it better. Dragon scale. Plus I did the backing in another style. So you know, at least I have 2 stamps. And we're gonna go from there. But here it is. Now I'm gonna go ahead and take the stitching out, and I will be right back when this is done. All right, welcome back. You know, you've probably heard that phrase a couple times now in this whole project. So here is one part of the mask. Here is the other. And, you know, what it all comes down to is patience, because I found that it was better to, you know, pop the stitches than try to cut through the stitches. I didn't really overly, you know, damage or anything. But I did find out that they have glued this in place, which makes sense. It's a whole lot easier than, you know, having it wiggle all around. So now I'm going to be taking this. Now this is a sandwich because it goes like that. And so there's a little sandwich. There's a little bit of bologna sticking out right there just for you. So I'm going to separate this from this, and then I'm going to be drawing the template. And we'll be right back. All right, so here we are. We have the template done out. It's not the easiest thing to see, but you can kind of see it. Now, I did this one, and then I realized that if I cut it out, it would be backwards, and the rough side would be exposed. So I had to do another one, and I'm gonna use this as a template for that one, and you need to cut everything out. So let me go ahead and do that. So welcome back to the table. It has been several days. You know how things go. Life does get in the way of art. So let's take a look at the Tomahawk. This came back from Mr. Tom Veff. I'm gonna turn a light on here. Oh, there we go. All right, I wanted to show you that edge. This edge is wicked Veff sharp. When you want things sharp, you get them Veff sharp. And he did a fantastic job. And it looks great on the handle that we did. And then I came up with, you know, I want to do my own mask for the Tomahawk. So I bought 2 of these just as much as I got 2 handles. I got one of these, took it apart, used it as a template. This is a great mask. It's completely sufficient. But you know me, if I wanted something that everybody had, I wouldn't have done what I've done to this. So, after much cussing, I haven't done any leather work for several years, pre 2020. So here is my first attempt. Leather work is not cheap to get into, and I am not the most patient person in the world. But as you can tell, I stamped this one stamp at a time, and it cost me more than a dime. I can tell you what, that was not a cheap project. But here we go. It's got the dragon scale. I used, I'm gonna do a different, this is wax thread. I'm gonna do something different next time. Next time. And that turned out pretty good. I had to move the snap at least one more time after the initial, and it turned out pretty darn good. Pretty darn good. And then as I was sitting here at the table with all my leatherwork stuff around me, I'm like, well, you know what? This was a pain in the ass. That one stamp at a time. Then I thought, well, you know what? I'm gonna do one more time. And I used this stamp. It turned out pretty darn good. The reason why I like the stamp better, it has little locator dots. Now, did that prevent me from, doing everything right the first time? Nope. Yeah, it has some personality to it. But I took a little bit more time, and when I was burnishing my edges on here and everything, and I did have to replace this, I'm probably going to have to do it one more time. Just have to maybe go out there and get myself this snap. There's a stem that comes through, and then there is something you put behind it, and you hit it, and it mushrooms, and it captures this. So we'll put this on here, and then we'll snap it. So this is the one I'm going to be using more. I just like it so much more. And then I thought, well, now that you are kind of done, what about an overstrike collar? Now, I've done them solid piece before, and I can tell you this time, I'm not going to do a solid piece. What I ended up doing is getting some of this leather lace, and just want to let you know, I'm going to post a couple pictures of this in progress. Didn't think you want to hear me cussing continuously. So I found a guy on YouTube that used leather lace to wrap the handle. And it comes up like this. Okay. See how I can do on this, because here I am on the camera. Let's see if I'm going to be able to accomplish this without completely screwing the pooch. What they say, practice makes perfect, but whew, what a pain in the butt sometimes. Practice. So I'm going to come up here, and please excuse, this is a really windy day here, and it is quite warm. quite warm. You feel like you're sitting in a hot room or whatever. So you're going to wrap this around here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save you hearing me cuss, and I'm going to get to a stopping point, and when I get to the next step, I'm going to come back. So as we go down, the end of this lace is going to go through this tail. Then you're going to take your pliers, you're going to pull it up, cinch it up tight. And then you're going to trim that off, and that's going to secure this to the handle. And as we circle the hawk handle, we're pushing up to make sure that everything is snug up here. And we're going to go a little bit further and maybe get bit by a mosquito. Yay, hot weather. Letting those little bloodsuckers out. Tell you what. So my next project that I'm going to be working on, there is a knife and hawk maker. His name is Mark McCown. Mark McCown, big M, small c, big C, O-U-N. Mark McCown. Whatever. I'm sorry. I'll have to listen to the way he says it, of course. I have an interesting last name myself that is prone to mispronunciation, so instead of butchering his name, I shall just shush. But, and I'm going to put a link, he makes fantastic tomahawks. And he uses curly maple handles. So I went out and I bought a curly maple handle from his producer. And I'm going to be doing some stuff like this on it. Then I'm going to send it to him to finish, because I've never, apparently you can't do curly maple like you would with a hickory handle like we have here. So I'm going to do up the handle with some woodwork, put some my little personal touches on it, and then I'm going to send it over to him over in Virginia and let him do the finishing work on it. Okay, so here we are. As you can tell, there's this tail here. We put it through here. Now, excuse me for a moment. All right, everybody, wish me luck. There it goes. Give it another tug. Ooh, ooh, wee. Okay, so there it is. It's looking pretty stout. Pretty darn good. All right, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna trim everything up, and let's go over here. That off. Let me see if I can get this a little bit down and do a little tap-a-roo. And then cut this off. Well, that's how I do it. But there you go. So what do you think? This is the official end of my Tomahawk project. I tell you what, that feels good. That feels really good. Well, thank you so much for going on this journey with me. Difficulty level. Well, I'm not a, what I would consider to be a skilled craftsman in woodwork or what have you. So I figured that if I could do it, so can you. Okay. I encourage you to try. Fail upwards. If you're gonna fail every time you don't try. And I really want you to take the opportunity to, make something of your own. This is pretty darn good looking. If I had any kids or what have you, maybe I'd pass it down to them. But this is a completely functional tomahawk, and it's a one of a kind. There you go. And just to show you something else, I got this from Chattanooga Leatherworks. This is designed by Ryan M. Johnson with our good friends over at Columbia River Knife and Tool over in Oregon City, Oregon, if I'm not mistaken. Chattanooga Leatherworks is, they're in the same place, if I'm not mistaken, as RMJ Tactical in Chattanooga, Tennessee. When you look at this, you can wear this on your belt, and what this will do, hopefully still with this on there, we shall see. I might have to do something about this later on. There you go. So it'll go on like that. Watch, prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. I have not fitted this with this on here. But that's okay. If you do not want to do a leather wrap, there is something else. There is something else. This is also made by Chattanooga. So this ring, if you look at this here, well, that's a molly. You could put this on that molly system on your pack you got in your backpack room. And that'll go onto a pack. Also, you could put this onto a belt and wear it on your hip. Now this one might be a little bit more conducive since I have, let me re-snap the snapperoonie. Oh well, let's move along. So you could put this on your belt and chop it through that ring. And there you go, you're walking through the forest with your tomahawk on your side, like Mel Gibson on the Patriot, or maybe the Last of the Mohicans. And there you go. Thank you. And as always, please remember, like, share, comment, and subscribe. And, you know, this is the famous time. This is the famous time. There's the cat. Have a nice day. Take care. See you soon.
Sent him to Afghanistan and then into Iraq. The bullet that came screaming out went deep into his back. He hit the ground, but his grenade found enemy on track. He ain't gonna jump no